so that you can share your experiences. So to start with, I would like for you to tell us a little bit about your professional career, a synopsis of it.
Okay, so my professional career, I started teaching 20 years ago. My first 3 years were in a private school, and for the last 17 years I've been here at PSMS 279. I began as a teacher, was then transitioned to a coach, instructional coach for teachers, and then later into an assistant principal, and 2 years ago I became principal of the same school, PSMS 279.
That's awesome. So your colleagues have actually seen you from teacher all the way to principal.
Yes, a lot of staff who was hired back with me is still here, so they've seen me evolve throughout the years.
Along with them.
Along with them.
That's good. Can you share the contextual framework of your school? Tell us a little bit about your demographics, specifically of your student population, the teachers, the staff, and the parents and community, please?
Sure. We are a K-8, which there's not too many K-8s existing anywhere in New York City. But we're a K-8 with about 1,054 students currently, projected to be over 1,100 next year. We are 85% Hispanic, 15% African American, and 5% other. So we have a range from Bengali students, Arabic students, so we're getting an influx of other nationalities into the school. I have 75 instructional classroom teachers, and I have 116 staff total, without a classroom support, school aides, paraprofessionals that I supervise. We have a great parent-teacher association. We encourage parent involvement, so we have a lot of parents in our building at all times, which I think is something a school needs. And we work with a lot of outside organizations to ensure that our students receive everything that they're entitled to and everything that they can get to be successful.
Awesome. So what actions do you undertake to improve excellence and equity at your school for all students?
Well, I grew up not too far from here. I'm a product of the Bronx, and so I believe that every student can learn, and the expectation is that we can all achieve, and so that in order for kids to get a quality education, it needs to start with having highly qualified teachers. And so for me is that all the students in my school are exposed to a standards-based curriculum, and every teacher receives professional development throughout the year to ensure that they are highly qualified to instruct students and to move students along the continuum. We feel that a big part of monitoring students is monitoring teacher effectiveness, and so we are part of the Danielson evaluation system in New York, so teachers are constantly observed, given feedback to improve their practice, and in turn then student achievement is monitored on a monthly basis to ensure that students are not falling behind and that the necessary interventions are put in place within a reasonable time frame, so that we're not waiting to the end of the year to see that our kids did not meet the standards.
That's awesome, and that's very important. And it's great that you have that system in place, because really encompasses the whole picture of the whole school. What have been some of the areas of need, the ones that you know that needs more attention and focus to increase academic achievement at your campus?
Well, because the school is 50% ELs or special ed, we know that the primary focus for me, the school under my leadership, is literacy. We know our kids are not at the literacy rate they need to be, and so for me, every teacher in this building, whether it be a middle school math teacher or an kindergarten teacher, are all reading teachers. And so we've been really pushing that since my principalship, is that everyone's responsible to teach reading. And so we're doing that through having strategic reading periods built in for all classes on all grades, so that during that time kids are being met at their level, and hoping that the interventions we're giving them there are going to close those achievement gaps. We also have tutoring, the Coca-Cola value tutoring, which provides one-on-one literacy support to our elementary school tutees, which has really allowed the little ones to actually excel. They love having the one-on-one support. We have actually replicated the Coca-Cola valued youth model. We have our tutors, but we're also replicating that idea of having the one-on-one in our other grades, so that kids do get that individualized support. We're an overcrowded school, so there's 34, 35 kids in a class, The idea of having somebody else, an intervention teacher or a tutor in the classroom to lend that support gives those kids that individualized attention that they need.
That's good, and I was actually a witness of that. I'm seeing how, yes, the classrooms had a lot of students, but yet you have a teacher, you have another adult there, and then with having the tutors working with the tutees really has helped, and I saw the faces of those students, how they know how important it is to have all that support and how important learning is. So they were really engaged. So I was actually a witness of that, and I commend you for that leadership. How are you using research data to identify issues and areas of concern so that you can evaluate the effectiveness and the teacher efficacy?
Well, we look at data constantly, whether it be student achievement data, teacher effectiveness data, behavioral data. We use a system of trackers in the building, whether it be the advanced tracker that monitors where teachers are at in their learning continuum, and we look at that on a weekly basis as an admin team, and then based on what we're seeing, we then do we facilitate and organize professional development opportunities so teachers can move along the continuum just like we want students to. Student data is looked at with teachers through data dialogue conversations and through data meetings and inquiry so that we can see and pinpoint students' strengths and weaknesses, and how can we help those that have the weaknesses, and then how can we actually really move and enrich those kids who with their strengths. So we're trying to hold teachers accountable to actually really knowing their kids, not only just the weaknesses but their strengths, so that those strengths can then help support other students. And we do a lot of celebrations of student successes when they do reach a milestone of a certain level in reading, or they've met a certain level in math or the science rubric. So we use a lot of different assessment tools to ensure that we're getting a good overall picture of the student.
Awesome, and I think the level of expectation, it's very high as far as teacher quality is concerned and education quality is concerned, just like it is for students. So it's a holistic approach that you have developed here on your campus.
Right, and the idea is that every student is expected to meet the standards. So we are Common Core aligned, and every student is expected to meet the standards. The idea is how our teachers going to differentiate to ensure that every kid has that same opportunity. So everyone's going to get to the end. How they're going to get there might look a little different, but the goal is that they all make it to that end. And so we're working really hard with teachers on ensuring that they have the strategies they need to ensure that all students learn.
And I know you have a lot of support systems in place to then help those students who might be struggling a little bit.
We do. We have a strong response to intervention team. We have a social and emotional team that looks at students. The Coca-Cola value tutors that Miss Michelle Coyle oversees has been instrumental in actually helping us put things in perspective as terms as what kids need. And we have seen with the Coca-Cola value youth tutors that when you actually tap into a child's strength and allow them to use that strength to help others, they flourish in so many more different ways. You know, the whole tutoring program has taken our most at-risk students and has transformed them into socially responsible students who not only want to excel with their tutees, but actually want to excel in class and want to become leaders throughout the building in all subject areas. So it has really been instrumental in transforming a lot of the students we were concerned with originally.
Awesome, awesome. What have been the impact or most valuable outcomes during the implementation of this collaborative partnership between PS 279, Lehman, and IDRA? You kind of mentioned a little bit about Coca-Cola values, but let's talk about a little bit about the partnership.
Well, I think the partnership with Lehman College is the exposure. You know, we're in the Bronx, Lehman is not far, but so many of our students didn't have exposure to college and universities. For many of them, they will be the first to go to college, and to have that partnership where they go to the college, they walk around campus, they are treated like college students, the expectations for them has been monumental. So many of the kids, before going into the program, thought they were just going to be a baseball player or a basketball player, not realizing how important even for that academics is. And so they have now really been looking at the college or universities they want to go to. So we have more kids now talking about wanting to go to Duke or wanting to go to Harvard or Yale, where before that might have just been something they didn't even hear of. And so I think the Lehman partnership has opened the doors for those children and their parents so that they see how important, college is, and that, college isn't for the elite or the wealthy, that the expectation is we are all going to go to college, and that this school is just the first step in that, but the expectation is that they're all going to go on to college and they're all going to do something and then come back and give back to their community.
Awesome, awesome. So you are sharing the progress and successful outcome of your school and all stakeholders. How else do you, what other venues do you utilize to let other people know the greatness of your school?
Right, well, I think I'm part of a network, 109, where I've been given the opportunity to share what's been working in my school with the 36 other principals in the network. I have a collaboration also with Riverdale Country School, which is a private school in Fieldston in the Bronx, and we have been able to share the successes here, but also learn from them and bring that in. I was fortunate this year to actually be a facilitator at the Chancellor's Conference for new principals, so I had the opportunity to speak to the new principals about what works best in my building and how I've been able to implement the teacher evaluation system, stay on track of teacher needs and professional development. And I also think in New York City, the network gives you, they have a lot of opportunities for you to connect with other principals, be it inside the network and outside the network, where you can share best practices. And I think that's something that we constantly do as principals, and I think Coca-Cola has been one thing too that I've been pushing, because it's something that needs to happen beyond, a program or a grant. What this provides, the Coca-Cola Value Tutoring, what that provides to our students, it needs to be something that's in every school. Because I have seen such a huge transformation from some students that it has been amazing. And it's not something I really thought in the beginning I would see, but some of the changes have been just dramatic. And it has, in terms of shareholders and speaking, I think the biggest shareholders are the parents. And when you have parents come in and say that they've seen such a change in their child at home and how they relate to their siblings and how they're helping more with chores and becoming more responsible, to me, that speaks volumes of what we do here and what the program has allowed us to do. And I think, it's in bringing all those shareholders together to support what's working.
Do you have some words of wisdom you would want to share with other people?
Well, words of wisdom. I do feel, as somebody who's from the Bronx and has wanted to go into teaching all my life, is that every student is capable, and we need to be enthusiastic, energetic, and nurturing to ensure that we tap in to every kid's strength. Every kid might not be good at math, they might not be good at science, but they're all good at something. And if we provide opportunities for what they're good at, I think we and themselves will reap the rewards, to come, because it is, this program and our collaboration with IDRA has actually allowed us to look beyond the kid and find that one, or two strengths that they have and have them use that to teach somebody else, and it's been amazing.
And that's great, because sometimes when we tap into those assets, those other weaknesses that they have actually, little by little, become strengths as well.
Right. I think when you tap into the one thing that you think a child is good at, you see all these other strengths and competencies develop, and kids feel it, and so now they're more empowered to do more because they want to learn more. And I think for our youth today, it's essential that we tap into their strengths and provide them opportunities to showcase that.
That's awesome. Well, in closing, I just want to say that you are a visionary, courageous change agent who is focused on developing a culture in the school that is responsive to improve teaching and learning. And you always provide affirmation to teachers, parents, students. I've seen that when I come here. I see that you're ready and you're caring and you stay connected to innovative trends. You're very inclusive, and today we have to be very inclusive because of our diverse population. You definitely lead by example and expect the best of all who come in contact with you so that you can reach the highest expectations and standards for kids. And you're very resourceful because when I've seen, and I talked to teachers here, they said you're always providing things for them so that they can continue to be committed to an exemplary education for all kids in 279. At IDRA, we really applaud you for your outstanding servant leadership, and we take pride in recognizing leaders like you. And we're very glad and extremely happy for the opportunity that you have given us to support you as an instructional leader and in the engagement and reform efforts for this particular program, Coca-Cola Valley Youth, to transform your school and your community. I thank you again for your time and your willingness to share this experience. And we want your story to be listened and viewed by others so that they can emulate what you do here in New York City. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.